Training for your next big race and not sure about your nutrition? Well, Precision Fuel and Hydration are sponsoring the show this month, and their free online planner has you covered. It calculates exactly how much carbs, sodium and fluid you need to smash your goals. Me and the team at Inside Running Podcast swear by the 90 gram resealable gel to have on our long runs. It's been a game changer for us. If you want to crush your race day strategy, hit the link in the show notes, try the planner and grab 15% off your first order with the code IR-SPRING2025. That's IR-SPRING2025. Hit the link, grab your discount and crush those goals. Now on to the episode.
That your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place?
Welcome to episode number 392 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thanks for being with us for another week. Big show coming at you this week. Some results from Tokyo. Some fast results from Tokyo. We're going to be talking about some Sydney half marathon results, Moose on the Loose, a good listener question that I'm looking forward to unpacking, and all the other segments we do. Diamond League and Grand Slam as well. News heavy this week. Going to be talking about all those things. Welcome to my co-host is Dan Anglesey, Julian Spence. How you going?
Good. Thank you.
That's good. What's happening?
Just following up on the thread about the guy running across Australia, actually. Just getting a daily update.
Yeah, there's good comments on there, isn't it? How's he keeping his heart rate so low? Isn't he running like 100 beats per minute every day?
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue with the cadence now too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay. Daily Mail did an article on it about like some potential like cheating stuff. So
no one's going to call it out. I don't understand. They just need to get someone there sitting next to him for a few days.
He's in the desert though, isn't he, Moose?
Yeah, but
who's going out to the desert?
Well, that's the thing. No one really gives it that much of a fuck about it to really go and do it. Well, there is probably a couple of blokes out there, but they're in other countries. So if someone does live out in the desert and they just want to go and just have a look at what's going on out there, plenty of other examples in the past of people cheating with this stuff. I'd just like to have someone go spend a few days next to him, just like chill, put audiobook in the car, tick along at 6k an hour, put the hazard lights on, just join the party.
How are you, Craig? You're up in Canberra. Welcome to episode number 392.
Yeah, I'm good. I really don't care about this cross Australia thing at all. And like with the heart rate, it's like, how are they using that as we know, is it wrist heart rate? We know that wrist heart rate's not accurate.
That's the thing that I'm not with the argument on that either, because I think wrist heart rate is shit. And so like it's not unusual to be all up shit creek. So yeah, it's not the best. There's no hard evidence, that's for sure.
I've stopped looking into that stuff though, because I'll just get angry, I reckon, if I dig too deep. So I'm better off just not caring.
Didn't he do like comrades though? And then he he had his wrist heart rate on, and his heart rate data was like 160 beats per minute for the same pace. And now that different heart rate monitor?
Wrist heart rate is just unpredictable though. I cooled down on the treadie the other day, 190 beats a minute. Just cooling down.
Yeah.
I tell you who it's really accurate for is Rob Wilson. It's really accurate for him. Like he actually uses it as a training tool because it's consistent for him.
The problem is, as long as if it's out one day, you just feel like you can never trust it. And like I used it on Sunday. I forgot my heart rate monitor, so I wore it for my long run, and the data actually looks good off it. Like I look down and I expect to see a number, and the number's showing based on how I feel. So I actually do use it in that way, but I would just do I would never use it for an important session.
With like the endorsements and the profile of these things getting bigger and bigger, do you think they need to have better? Like, if you want all the endorsements and want all the kudos and want all the attention, you need to start supplying more credibility with the data. You're trying to, like, if you want big claims about I'm running across Australia, I'm breaking the record, I'm smashing it, yada, 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 I'm this far ahead, you should be putting up accurate heart rate data, cadence stuff, live streams, whatever it is, to be able to say, this takes any speculation that I'm cheating out of the question.
It's got to be a live stream so you can see what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be hard to put a little GoPro, just an iPhone?
Not at all. You've got to
Live.
power the whole time, power it off the car, just bloody plug it on like a suction on the window. You don't have to have him like all the time. He can go 20, 30 seconds out, come back in, whatever. You just got to see the bulk of it.
Anyway, let's move on.
Problem is though, Moose, when you're running across the Nullarbor and it all looks the same, they just set up a loop.
Ah, the loop, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Moose, you're the fittest man on the show at the moment. Take us through a week of training.
Yeah, how good's that? Isn't that just the way it's meant to be on this show, though?
It's been a while.
Do you feel like it's just like, what do you call it? Nature's healing or the
Pecking
world's
order.
healing?
I'd back Brady, I think, in a race at the moment.
Oh, come on.
Well, I only ran 30K last week, Croaks.
You don't lose fitness in a week.
Something's up with my groin, though, Croaks. I'm not just... I reckon I got an injury.
Brady, injured.
When we had that pile up at the drink station. Did I tell you about that last week? Something happened then, and I think I shook it off during the race, but it's been bad. But anyway, I'll get to that. I reckon Moose would have me covered if I rocked up to Great Ocean Road half marathon this weekend.
Yeah, you'd be worried at Bandura, I reckon.
Oh, I'm worried there when I'm fit.
Yeah, I reckon we'd be in a similar... I reckon I'd be fitter than I am. Oh, actually interesting. I'm not sure if I'd be similar to what I was, but you would probably be fitter than we were last year. I'm not sure.
I was pretty fit last year. I was just shit at Bandura. I think that was the case.
No Bandura anyway this year.
We should hit up a head-to-head, Moose. Pick a race in like 6 or 8 weeks' time. Me and you.
Yeah. That'd be Gold Coast.
Half? Do you want to do half?
I don't have any entries for Gold Coast.
No, I'm going to email our man Ryan next week, I reckon. Get us an entry.
Park, Lakeside 10?
When's that?
Oh, I don't know. Is it July, August?
What about Sydney, Brady? Sydney Marathon.
I got in with Valencia during the week gone.
Oh, already?
Yeah, well, it was May 2nd. You had to apply for a sub-elite entry. So I've booked my head-to-head with Croaks in December. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing at Sydney. Are you going to run Sydney like serious as a marathon?
Yeah, well, I'll train for... yeah, I will.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be the only marathon you do in the back half of the year?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
You could do like Fukuoka in December.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Come to Valencia as well. I've got another entry for you if you want it.
Well, you got 2 entries.
Well, someone said to me, if you don't get the sub-elite entry, I've got an entry for you. They can transfer to me. So I don't need that.
I might have one for you as well, Moose.
No. That's why I want all 3 of us in a marathon again.
Valencia. Remember the last time we did this?
Yeah. I also remember Croaks didn't get to the finish line.
No.
Anyway.
There's a long way before that anyway. I'm not that fit. It was raining on Monday. I ran in the morning. Did probably a bit too many hills. Although I didn't do a long run Sunday. So my Monday, I allowed myself to go run some hills. I remember now. So I did an hour and a bit. I was going to do strides, but it was pissing down rain. And I thought, I'm past that now. I don't really need to do strides when it's like torrential rain. I did a workout the next day, 4x7 minutes threshold. I did this on the treadie. Got the YouTube open. Had Alex Yee doco. Pretty good. Bit boring. Brady, you loved it, but I found it a little bit boring.
For a workout, no way, Moose. For an easy 35-minute on the treadmill, it's good.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But you're not getting... Yeah, it's pretty slow, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit boring.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put that on for a workout. Why didn't you put a race on to watch or something?
Because I hadn't seen that before.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty cruisy. So, like, This is what I love about the tree. I say it every week, but it just takes, I can just dial it in so good. So it's a really easy workout. I'll call it it's almost a half workout, this, because the first 7 minutes, my average heart rate's 145, then 155, 161, 162. So I'm really only getting to my threshold heart rate in the last maybe couple of minutes of the last 2 reps. So it's very much like a sub-threshold workout. And I always pull up really well from it. And I feel like I can get a better week by sitting in that area. If I did this outside, I would be spending a lot more time close to the threshold heart rate just because of the area that we live in does not allow for this dialed in pace. It's always something going on, whether it's hills or wind or whatever it is. So yeah, that was a decent workout. Pace is irrelevant, although I am finding that I'm spending I'm putting the treadmill faster each week for these with the same heart rate, so I can feel the progressions there. And I also feel stronger into the later reps. Also a good sign. The body's getting stronger. Well, the Mizuno Neo Vista 2 on the Wednesday ran just, again, 12K around Anglesea, parked down the bottom of the hill. So I just did a loop up past the coal mine, past the tip, down a bit of the Great Ocean Road, past the scout camp, down on the cliffs. You would recognise that cliff track from the Ekadens that we used to do down there. Same sort of trail we ran on. Shoe was no good for the first 30 minutes. Hated it. Had this real negative review ready to go. And then I stopped and I thought, what? It feels so loose. And I did the shoes up tighter. And then I hit a nice downhill patch. And all of a sudden, I just felt the sweet spot of this, slightly further back than what I was landing. And it was just rolling really smoothly. I felt great after that. And I felt maybe I just needed the laces tighter. And then I think I got back, and maybe it was literally that day, had a message from Zaka saying, hey, all the feedback is the shoe fits so long, they're going to send you a half size smaller. And so that I've put that on since. And yeah, the fit is so much better. The shoe feels a lot nicer and the right size. So for anyone out there who's looking to get their hands on those when they release later this month, look for a half size down. Did you boys find the same thing with that?
Well, I thought it was true to size, to be honest. But
yeah, okay.
My legs busted up. You know, when you get a new pair of shoes and you can't really give an honest review on the shoes because your legs are so belted. It's just I put it on twice and both times I felt shit anyway. So it's I want to be, fresh and just seeing how it feels.
And I've only done one run in it, but I went for the smaller size. And so I'm normally a 10 in everything and I put on the 9.5 and I had an enjoyable run in it.
Yep. The Shoe Geeks Instagram, if you haven't seen it, we just did a little bit of a first impressions. I think we decided to do an Instagram page around these days. Oh no, it's probably later on actually, the next day. But the idea is that we are, all three of us, Tom, Knitter and myself, so sick of seeing the terrible content out there about footwear that we thought, let's just start putting some stuff up on social media. And we'll do more in-depth discussions on our podcast, which will get more consistent. So it'll just be sort of a few little flashes here and there of what we're wearing.
This. So you did the Puma Fast R and then the Mizuno Neo Vista 2 so far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're not real reviews. They're kind of just...
I like them short, sharp.
Yeah. What did I wear today? What was my initial thoughts? And
3 or 4 quick dot points. That's how you kind of spat them out. I'm
one of the most critical judges of shoes too. So a lot of people find me a little bit negative about shoes, but it's just because I try to pick up all the small things that might potentially lead to someone having a problem with the shoe. So I've got to try to get out of that habit of just being a little critical. But I think that's maybe what's different about our little Instagram page is that none of us really care about like pumping shoes up. We would just want honest takes on it, and it'll be pretty quick fire type stuff. So if we don't like a shoe, we'll tell you.
Yeah, this isn't like this brand sponsoring the podcast. Here's our review on it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to be that. No way.
Yeah. ShoeGeeks_IRP. You should do one with your shirt off, Moose, because this one got 7,000 views. I reckon we get your shirt off and it's going to be like a 15, 20,000 kind of view one.
Well, I'm getting thinner. It's nearly time for that. Maybe a couple more weeks. Just let the tan leave me a little bit so it makes my black hair stand out more. I like that contrast better, like the polarization of that pasty skin with a super black rug of hair.
You're an idiot.
That's what I'm going to wait for. I'm just going to really like let it just flourish. Did some hills the following day, and then some strides. The hilly run really showed me out. This was a reality check here. That like just felt so weak. Heart rate rose, couldn't get it down. Tough. Probably need to do a little bit more of that, but at the same time, that's what I think got me injured the last few times I've come back. So I need to also just check the hills a little. Maybe just one day a week I run a bit hillier, and then a Sunday I run hillier. Met Ben on the Friday morning, did a tempo run, 6K tempo, which I got the math wrong, ended up being full downhill tempo basically. So the run went from Jarosite Road, which is just near Bells Beach, and we ran down Adderscott Road. And it was downhill. There were a few lumps and rollers. We sort of came back up the hill, but I realized I wasn't going to get back to the car. So I went back downhill again to the bottom of a hill so that I could do the following hill reps up it. So it ended up being 32 meters of overall downhill in that. The idea was that I wouldn't get it above 135 beats, which is about 5 to 10 beats under my threshold.
165?
165, sorry, yeah. I think I did get up there at one point. But the average heart rate, I don't know what that was.
158 average.
158, yeah. So that's downhill though. Like it took a long time to get up. Then I did 6 by 30-second hill reps. And this is not my wheelhouse right here. I was no good on these. I just felt so weak. I felt like I got to about 20 seconds and I just fell in a heap. My form, I tried to keep solid, but I just had no power. And as soon as like I just couldn't get breath in, and I'm just so out of shape at this top end, this anaerobic stuff. And Ben, he is a former like 1500, like he's a anaerobic type dude. He was quite good on this next to me. So it was nice to have someone there. I think we will be good training partners in the future. He's doing Great Ocean Road half, same as me. But yeah, so that was good to get some hard stuff in that I hadn't done. And then I went out for a jog on Saturday morning, an hour, and then ran the long run. So this was a solid one, 26K. I think we just came off that podcast last week. Just we sort of chatted about those long runs and how they're really good for you, especially over the hills. And this was certainly a bit harder, especially early. You can see, have a look at the first 10K, the elevation graph of that first 10. This is in sandy tracks, really awkward footing. I pretty much ran a bit of a fartlek at the start where I'd surge up hills and then recover on the downhill, and just wanted to get a little bit more of a workout out of this long run. Then we got to the 12K mark and just a big long uphill. Ended up getting dropped by Sammy Williams towards the top. And then, yeah, sort of cruised back down the hill, dropped Sam off at about 90 minutes. And then we had another fella there,
Owen,
yep. And and we just sort of pushed at the end. I like finishing longer runs a bit firmer, sort of just knowing that I'm going to do the Sydney Marathon, and I don't have a ton of mileage behind me. I just thought, okay, I could probably get a little bit more out of the long run by just putting the foot down towards the end. And I felt really good. Like mechanically, it was moving really well. No sore spots, no niggles. Heart rate definitely got up there because I was sort of working a bit, but 151 average, sort of what I would expect. And it was 105K for the week.
Good. It's when you're when you do that same loop and average 135 beats per minute or 140, like that's when you know you're fit.
Yeah, it's the recovery. Probably the heart rate will go up to a similar amount over those hills, but it just comes down so much easier.
Yeah.
Just it stays up when you're not fit like that.
Sam was in our pack for the half, I reckon. I've just looked him up.
Yeah, he was. He
put in a big surge around the lake.
Yeah, I was there. I was watching it.
Got away, but then he come back to us. I got a feeling.
So he went at a drink station, I reckon, or just before, and that's when I was with a couple of guys, and I noticed like the pacer was at the back of the pack, and I'm like, because I couldn't find Sam, and I thought, there's been a big move, like everyone's breaking up, and I looked around and Sam's off the front. I thought, he's gone early. I think I remember we talked about maybe waiting a bit longer for him to take off, but he still would have finished. Or did your whole pack catch him? 69.37 he ran.
Yeah, finished 7 seconds in front of us.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So he was happy with that. It's a big PB for him. And he's been a good 1,500 meter runner in the past, but just always does his calf. So he has like such an important muscle for track running. And he's such a springy guy. He's got all this bounce, but he has really susceptible calves and Achilles. Like really, he's not even weak. I won't say weak because he's done like 3 to 5 years of some of the most intense calf strength work. And he goes to a strength and conditioning clinic, and like he is putting 3-4 times his body weight just lifting off his forefoot on these calf raises. So he's super strong, but something just goes wrong. So he's just transitioning to more aerobic based training and doing some longer threshold work. So hopefully he can get some good races in over the longer stuff.
He's run 3:46.
Yeah.
Actually, I reckon he cooked me one year at Vic Countries, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
same guy.
Ballarat used to be Ballarat, now Geelong.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, absolutely destroying me with 250 metres to go one year. He would have been only about 16, maybe.
Got some pace on him for sure.
Yeah, quick guy. Your kind of numbers, Croaks, 3:46, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got me. I was 3:48.
Oh, okay. New spikes, though, Croaks. Probably would have got him.
I reckon he was old spikes too, actually. I reckon he was old spikes as well. You're not.
It's probably why he's popping his calf. Still wearing victories.
I was on cinder tracks, Moose.
Yours would have been hand time too, wouldn't it? No electric timing back then.
Yeah.
The old bloke probably got it wrong. Might have hit pause too quick. What have you been doing, Croaks? Good week from you, Moose. So excited. So we got what? Great Ocean Road this weekend, which is 23. Next weekend.
It's not this weekend coming. It's the one after.
Okay. So you're not going to run XCR this weekend, first round. That's good. You've got another week of fitness. And then Sydney Marathon. That's sounds strange, but it's going to come around sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I know, because it's 17 weeks. And if you think about it, you do Great Ocean Road, you sort of have a little taper recovery. There's 2 weeks. All of a sudden, you got 15 weeks. Got a taper in there. There's 13 weeks. I'm like, fuck, I got 5 weeks of like good base training left. But I'm going to do it a bit different. I'm not going to do that whole big block that I've done in the past. I'm not ready for that. This will be like a stepping stone type race where I just keep the training a little bit more general, a little bit more rounded, we'll call it, without those big, heavy marathon sessions, anything like that.
Ali will still write the program?
Yeah, I think so. We'll work on it together. We're already starting to discuss things a little more.
NordVPN has partnered with the Inside Running podcast to offer you an amazing discount. Head over to nordvpn.com/inside running to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months on top. Think of NordVPN as your personal bodyguard for your online activity. It encrypts your internet traffic, shielding your personal information from those prying eyes and online criminals with state-of-the-art encryption. It can help you book flights and hotels for your next race, as well as when you're over there, you can connect to a NordVPN server in your home country and safely enjoy the content as if you never left. Wherever you travel, it's perfect if you want to follow local Aussie sport. With NordVPN, you can access all your streaming services from back home. Don't forget, there's literally no risk to you at all with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try, and if you like it, great. If you don't, they'll issue a full refund, and you can pretend the entire situation never even happened. Check out our link, nordvpn.com/inside running, to get your subscription started today. You can also find the information in the episode description and the link in our social media bios. What have you been doing, Croaks?
Well, certainly not. I'm certainly nowhere near starting marathon block. I had Monday off because I was coming off that sickness, and then Tuesday I jumped on the treadmill for 30 minutes. I actually watched the Alex Yee first episode. I wasn't feeling sick really anymore, but my guts was still just cooked. So it wasn't an overly enjoyable run. So it was just 30 minutes. 5-minute Ks on the treadmill. So then I decided just to take another day off running because that, Tuesday wasn't enjoyable. So I ended up just going to the gym on Wednesday, just lifted some weights. Then Thursday progressed a little bit. So ran sort of just over 10 kilometers at 4:29s out at Mulligan's. Stomach was better. Probably still just a little bit of fatigue, just not feeling amazing. Then another step on Friday, did an hour, 4:25s. And then Saturday morning, Lily started her hockey season. So I ran from home to where she does hockey. So I put on the Neo Vista 2 for the first time. And I had a really enjoyable run. I think a few reasons. One, the shoe. Also, this was all on bike path, and like most of my running's on the trails, and this shoe is very good on a hard surface. It was also like one of those really nice cool Canberra mornings. It was probably like 5 degrees, no wind, and once you warm up, it's really enjoyable running. So I ended up doing 10.5K and ended up being a progression run. So sort of started the run at 4:20s, and the last couple of K was sort of downhill and flat, and sort of like my last 4K were like 3:50, 3:45, 3:40, 3:34, and I didn't know what pace I was running throughout the run. I just had it on overall, like I wasn't getting lap, and like I felt good. Almost felt like a runner again, but I definitely think having the downhill at the back end of the run plus the shoes probably makes you look a little bit fitter than you actually are. Saturday afternoon, went to the gym again. And then Sunday, I got out for 90 minutes. So this was my longest run in 6 weeks. And so I did sort of the traditional Mulligan's run. It's a little bit hillier than what I had been doing. So it was probably 230 meters of elevation over like the 21K. So yeah, it was 90 minutes at 4:17s. And like heart rate was fairly high, but sort of similar to you, Moose. It's like when you're not very fit, like you can jog up a hill and the heart rate just gets really high. And I actually think it's a pretty good training stimulus because your heart rate's, you're getting a good workout, but you're actually not running up the hill that hard mechanically. Whereas I think the fitter you get, you then actually have to push the hills fairly hard to get it high. So yeah, for me, it was a week of just under 62K. So sort of in that period, I feel like I'm a full, just running for general health and wellness at the moment, where it's like, I can get through 60K a week. I can roll a few runs, doing a bit of gym, but I'm nowhere near being like fit to race anything. But I'm hoping this week, now that I've sort of strung together a few weeks of gym where I'm not as sore from those sessions. I'm planning on doing a treadmill session tomorrow, and then maybe a bit of a progression run on Friday as my second session of the week, and hopefully more around that 70 to 75k for the week. Because my Achilles has been feeling certainly not. Hasn't caused me any grief on anything that I've done. Like, it's still a bit tender, like after the runs, and maybe sort of in the first 10 minutes of a run, I sort of notice it, but it's certainly way better than it was. I guess the interesting thing will be whether, once I start doing 2 sessions a week and try and bump the mileage up to 80, 90, 100K, whether it starts to deteriorate again. So, but I'm willing to start to just ramp things up a little bit.
See how it responds.
Yeah. Are you in a good routine with the gym work?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get there at least twice a week. So I plan on now probably going on, if I do my sessions in the morning, probably just going on my session days, Tuesday, Fridays. So make those sort of bigger days. And then, so I think Monday I think will be still a rest day. Tuesday will be session and gym. A longer run on Wednesday, probably only like an hour. Easy Thursday, session and gym Friday, easy Saturday, and long run Sunday. Try and get it up to an hour 45 and just hold it there for a bit.
Yeah, because as runners, when you start rolling workouts, you just start ditching something, and the gym's usually the first thing that goes.
No, the gym's definitely not going, because I think that's the one that is going to keep my heel and Achilles functioning when I start to increase the intensity and the volume.
Yeah, good. I'll whistle through this week, fellas, because I didn't do much. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, completely off. I was cooked Monday, just mentally, physically, quads. Big weekends, aren't they, Moose, when you're over there at a race festival for a couple of nights?
Mate, you ran a marathon.
Yeah, a lot of human interactions as well, though.
Yeah, but you love that shit.
I do, but I go like high froth, like 100% froth, and then I need to balance it out with just like 5%, 0%, which that was my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Very low key, didn't do much at all, ate heaps of food, tried to just not consume much running content either, just stay offline, just lay low. Read a really good book, What Happened to Nina. Recommend that, boys, if you want an easy page turner. Bit of a murder mystery. I'm sure you boys would enjoy it. Yeah, actually, Jess Stenson, someone reminded me. Chris actually reminded me on my Instagram that she recommended that book when we spoke to her last. Whereas Courtney Carter sent it to me. Croaks, Courtney Carter? Remember him?
I do know Courtney, yeah.
He's like, mate, you need to read this book. It took him 6 hours. Like, he just went page for page. Took me a bit longer than 6 hours. Not quite as quick as Courtney Carter. So, just really switched off. Thursday went out for 30 minutes at 4:41 pace. Quads were the sorest. Friday also did 30 minutes, 4:37 pace. I reckon I got to about 18 minutes before I felt my quads in this one, so that was good. Saturday, 40 minutes again, 4:40s. This is when the quads were less sore, but my right groin was like this weird pain I kind of haven't felt before. And then Sunday I did 45 minutes at 4:31. Did this in the afternoon, which was nice because it was about 23 degrees. Didn't feel the quad too much then, but today, Monday, recording day, felt it a bit this morning. So just got to put a bit of a watch on that. Week of 31Ks. Said I got that Valencia bib. Do people rush back, fellas? I'm feeling like I didn't do enough the week after a marathon looking at Strava. Let's do listener training talk segment. Tell me both your philosophies on the week after a marathon.
So for me, I generally get people at least to take till Thursday or Friday of complete rest. And then it's optional for the rest of the week, but no more than 30-minute runs, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's pretty much first week.
Yep.
So give me yours. Somebody like Rob, for his last couple of marathons, he loves actually just getting out and just jogging the day after. And I was sort of I'm okay with it, but I sort of said to him after Ballarat, I said, hey, look, I think, let's just take a few days off this time around. So I think he took till Friday off and pretty much did 30-minute runs the rest of the week.
That's good from you, Croaks, because if you let these crazy ass runners decide what they do, they're fucking going running. And they need a firm hand like that to say, hey, psychopath, just have a break, sleep in, do not run. You've just gone and ran a marathon. Yes, I know you might be feeling good or whatever. Don't care. Like for me, it's normally 10 days of rest, because I think if you say 10 days, like people won't start pushing you to come back early and starting to put heat on you to try and get like an allowance to get out there. For you, Brady, I would have thought that would be a great chance to have an extended rest. Like
full days off still.
For
still more
sure,
of them.
like
Yeah, okay.
7.
Yeah,
I
Andy
would
hasn't ran yet.
7 to 2 weeks even.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
I might still do that.
I would. No, it's too late. You've already.
I haven't ran more than 45 minutes. I can still have a few more days off. I could have the rest of this week off, Moose. I don't think I've jumped into workouts and stuff.
No. Well, that's absolute madness for me to be doing that. That's not respecting, and that you've just pulled my moose on the loose forward, because that's what I've written down.
Oh, I haven't scrolled that far down yet.
Well,
it has changed a lot though, Moose. Like I saw, and like bringing results, like Fraser Darcy.
Second at Ballarat, then he went and won Adelaide.
Like admittedly, like, you know, nowhere near as fast as what he ran in Ballarat, like 2:28, I think he ran at Adelaide. But still, it's like, you know, 10, 15 years ago, before these shoes came out, no one would ever think of doing that other than someone like Yuki. Like,
but just because you can do it physically doesn't mean you should do it. There's other things going on with your body trying to recover from the effort around a marathon than just your calf soreness or your quad soreness or whatever.
Yeah. There's certainly not a lot of upside to it.
No, maybe cash.
Oh, he would have won a bit of cash.
That's right.
Upside there.
And the heroism that you get on Strava from doing it, perhaps.
Yeah. But also, remember, wasn't it? And I'm not having to go at Toby again here, but wasn't it Toby who was like busted going into Great Ocean Road and was basically doing it for cash, and then it pretty much busted him, and he spent that money on medical bills.
Yeah, got his money, but spent it all on the scans.
You need to be real careful about what you say about Toby Croaks. Man wasn't happy on the monthly. You're making a lot of enemies.
You know, good little pop from Toby to Croaks about not listening to someone who doesn't make it, who doesn't find himself on start lines ever.
That was the most obvious comeback ever.
It was good. Yeah. I thought it was
the first 20 seconds too.
Well played.
Straight off early.
Well, I certainly don't like going into races underdone. I prefer to sit on the sideline.
Yeah, we know that, mate. We've been doing this a few years now.
Yeah, so regardless of how people feel, Moose, you will not move from your philosophy, because that sometimes people are like, I'm ready, I feel great. It's Friday after the race, all soreness is gone, I'm ready to go. Throw it at me.
I think there's different situations. Like, I'm not saying that every single person gets 7 to 2 weeks off. I'm saying that if someone's had a really good block and spend an extended time training before the marathon, then they have a big break. Because it's not just the marathon that they're recovering from. It's the periodization of their training throughout the whole year, like having a good cycle. And that cycle includes recovery. And this is the part of the year where they recover and then they get to build again. And that's how we build walls. It's how we build layers to things. That's why, like, Brady, I feel like you haven't done enough of that. You haven't had enough. I
said that last week.
Yeah, and I would love to see you take an extended period and then just almost come back with this freshness about you, with this almost like this motivation, and all your body just seems to recuperate, and you have a sort of big, fresh, exuberant outlook on things. I'm convinced, Moose. I'm all about that. Good.
I thought that's what I was kind of doing, just with like 30-minute jogs.
Well, that kind of is. It kind of is.
You still want to move your body and get some blood going. Maybe you can do that with a walk or get on the bike or something, get on the elliptical at the gym. Like, I still think exercising for me, even if it's just 20 minutes before I go to work, just sets my day up.
Yeah, going for a walk's really good for you. Definitely.
Put in the footy podcast, put in my man Cornsey, David King, listen to those boys.
Remember the old rule of thumb? Like this was, I guess, pre-super shoes was always a day for every mile you've raced.
Yep.
It's the mental side as well. It's the like, you're in the oven, like mentally getting motivated. I know our listener questions about that tonight. Like, you know, the alarms go off, you're getting yourself out of bed, you're putting your family under stress if you're training for a marathon. Like your wife or husband's probably got to do a bit more heavy lifting. Kids aren't seeing you as much. So like putting all that on pause for 3 or 4 weeks, I think is also good. It's interesting in the running coaching space as well, like the online run coaching, like the people that will like pause after their marathon and be like, oh, I'll then come back in a couple of months. Whereas it's actually a really important month to write. And like you said before, Croaks, like have that word with the athlete to be like, I am holding you back here because you can do a lot of damage in that 2 or 3 weeks after the race. Whereas people go, oh, because I'm not doing a lot of training, I'm going to pause it, which I get it could be a cost thing as well. But it's looking at it from a different angle there.
Also, I think a lot of the time people are so obsessed with holding fitness that that's a lot of the reason why they don't want to take time off. But I know, like after I ran my marathon PB, didn't do a lot for a few weeks, and first couple of sessions didn't feel great. But all of that work that you've done in that marathon block is still largely there once you get back into the swing of sessions again. So I think if you do a really good job of recovering after the marathon, the first couple of sessions don't feel great, but your fitness does come back really quick, and then you're almost at a better level than you would be if you just kept pushing through straight off the back of the marathon.
Yeah, like you're not going to be amazing 4 weeks after, but the people who are good, who are working hard 2 or 3 weeks after, they're usually might be in a bit of a hole 9 weeks after.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm thinking with Valencia.
10, so what, BWA's first weekend in March, by first weekend in May, I was running, really well at Sydney 10.
Sometimes,
so that's 8 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
Sometimes I remember last year after Ballarat, I ran like 30-10, I reckon, at Albert Park. I reckon that was 7 or 8 weeks after. Do you think sometimes you got to do it though? Like that's like once you've done it once and seen it work, it makes it easier to get into that routine.
Yeah, I also like I don't come back quick at all. It takes me ages to come back. You just got to be comfortable with it. You just have to be patient. Play that long game. Like I come out of marathons and I am horrendous for like probably 4 weeks after, and then it starts clicking again. And then you'll reach a greater height. Like you dip down in order to jump higher. And then, but if you just continue like this small little dips, small little gains. But yeah, I always found like breaking means that 10 weeks from that time, I would be in a much better position.
And you would have just been so comfortable with it.
Yeah, because it's worked, like you said, it's worked before. And you don't, like if you're a marathoner, like I was a pure marathoner, I didn't give a fuck about being fit for that cross-country race or the 10K or the half that's coming up. I just didn't care. All I cared about was that next marathon in 22 weeks or whatever it was. And that I would do everything based around that. So the whole year was structured insanely tight around those marathons, and it wouldn't budge to try to get back quick for a race here or there.
Yeah, that's been my problem. I'll be like flying at 10 AV races throughout the year. Yeah, you're like a Kipchoge. It's like 2 marathons a year. That's all you care about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking like Valencia now. I'm just like, I got plenty of time to be unfit because that's like December.
That's right. Yeah.
Plenty
Plan
of time.
It properly.
Get Dan Nash right in the program. It's just like, just recover now.
So why is, after saying how important it is for a coach in the recovery, why isn't he writing your program now?
Oh, we're hooking up a call. They're actually recording tonight, actually, the UK boys, for the Patreon show. I just didn't really want to think about running for the week, so I haven't hooked up a call yet. So we'll get that sorted, hopefully, maybe this week, next week, and then get going from there. But I'll got to back off even more now after we've had this conversation.
Well, I'll go to a physio too, just to get an assessment on that.
Yeah. I was thinking about even just going there and just be like, cause like physios, you can go in and just get an assessment on where you're weak and stuff. Like if I go in there and just go, just test me, just give me some tests and be like, hey, you're really weak in your left glute or something like that. They do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you don't like...
Then go in the gym and say, hey, let's get some stuff from your left.
You've had one fucking injury, and this isn't even an injury.
I don't think it's an injury.
So I would not go and play.
Okay.
That to me introduces complications you don't need to worry about right there.
Okay.
And there'll be a bunch of practitioners that want to get paid for that sort of shit, but don't worry about that. Like,
All right.
you do your strength and conditioning, it's working for you.
I'm doing 0 strength and conditioning.
It's working for you. Yeah.
Any disgruntled physios or strength conditioning coaches? Moose's DMs, thanks. Not the Inside Running podcast.
You take a fucking injured runner and try to find their weak point, and then make them do a bunch of shit. I guarantee you they'll get injured.
All right. Moose's DMs. Croak said it. Let's move on, fellas. Let's thanks to Patreon supporters. Who you got, Croaks?
I got Jason Mangtalo from Brisbane. He's run 17:38 at the Sandgate Park Run, 83 minutes at the 2024 Jetty to Jetty half marathon, and 2:57 at last year's Sydney Marathon. I think he might also be the head of sport and physical education at Mueller College. So, fellow PE teacher there. Thanks for your support, Jason. And all the best with whatever running endeavours you got coming up the rest of the year.
On you, Jason. Who you got, Moose?
Oh, Espen Wag Skledflow. It sounds Ethiopian, but it's Norwegian. Skjeflo. Espen Wag Skjeflo. SKJEFLO. There's a few letters here that aren't supposed to be going together, like one after the other. Like anyway, Norwegian name. According to his Strava, his 3K PB is 9:41. Actually, I'm not even sure that's a man, but I think it might be. Has run 34 minutes for 10K, 75 for the half, and 2:35 for the marathon. Reckon maybe 2:33 at the 2023 London Marathon. It's a good run. I'm just trying to do some calculations there. I reckon that could be the best result out of that list, actually. And perhaps a doctor, Espen, maybe a doctor.
He'd be a big fan of Chriso from Norway, wouldn't he? Espen?
Oh, Chriso got some haters.
Has he?
Definitely got some haters, Christian. You're not going to be an influencer like that without your haters.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can imagine it's pretty popular over there.
Just on that, Croaks. Just on Chriso. Do you feel like he was made out like he broke some kind of world record at London Marathon?
Chriso is back. He got on the board.
I listened to the monthly, and him and Jordo talking how it's almost like he qualified for the Norwegian Olympics from that run.
They were fairly up and about, that's for sure.
Like 2 minutes off his PB.
Chriso's had some shockers over the last few marathons. He is back, baby. He's back.
Bloke's been uninjured for 3 years, training like a professional athlete. Runs 2 minutes off a PB from 2019, and you're making out like he's some kind of freak of nature. And like he executed like the perfect race. Bloke positive split by like over a minute.
Downhill first half, isn't it, London? Weren't many negative splits there.
I agree, though, the fact that his last, 2 to 3 years have been terrible when it comes to the marathon. Like, he almost needed to just get one on the board. And I think that's what they were celebrating, was the fact that he's actually got one on the board. Oh. And now it's hopefully the next one is obviously a PB. But it sounds like he's going Berlin now and not Valencia.
Berlin, yeah. 20 weeks, I think. 20 weeks come around quick for Chriso. I'll patch you in next time we do an OG monthly Moose.
Don't be afraid to be honest sometimes, Brady.
I am honest. My goal for him was like, just get one on the board, Chriso. I just want to see not a huge blow up or a DNF. That was the goalpost for this one.
So you think we should like celebrate just getting him on the board now?
What was he? What did you say? 2 minutes off his best.
Yeah.
And Andy Buchanan was 3 minutes off his best.
Yeah. Did you celebrate that?
It was a hot day. I'm just saying, maybe
you were talking about how he wasn't going to be happy and it was no good.
I don't think he was happy. Yeah. But Andy's had more success than Chriso over the last couple of years in marathon. Chriso's goalposts are in a different location.
Chriso gets paid more to be a professional runner than Andy does.
No, they said we're not. That contract stuff, Chriso's been pulled up on that stuff. You got to be careful what you say on that show now. Anyway, that's on Patreon if you want to listen to that. Charlie Edwards, I'm thanking you, from Newtown in Wales, and according to his Power of 10 profile, he's ran 16:42 at the 2022 Newtown Barbecue 5K. He's ran 37.38, the 2023 Ellesmere 10K, and 86 minutes at the 2021 Wrexham Half, and 2:57 at this year's Chester Marathon. Oh, which one are we going? 16:42 easy, Croaks?
Yeah.
Okay. Wrexham. Hey, you watched that doco, haven't you, Croaks, about the soccer team?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
They're coming to Australia.
Oh, yeah. Are they playing at the MCG or something?
Probably, yeah. They're coming for a couple of games, I think.
Yeah.
Proper documentary, or is it like a reality series or something?
Oh, reality series. They buy the footy team, the soccer team in Wrexham, and they're like in Division 7. It's similar to like remember when Bendigo Bats come from Div 5 to win the premiership? Real similar vibes to that.
Ryan Reynolds bought it.
Yeah, and the other guy. Name. What's his name? He's an actor.
Rob McElhenney.
Yeah.
Did they get their little push up for free too? Push up the division?
No, they have to earn it, but they've moved up 2 years in a row now. So like I think I guess they're just finishing this season now, or just finished. But I think they're going to be one level under Premier League next year.
They didn't get it the first year though. They spent heaps of money on some good players, and they didn't get promoted.
But then the next 2 years they've just gone up a league each time. And
they follow some locals. I always want to see Clousey pop up in there. The guy from the pub, they feature him. A couple of rare
It's well put together.
Beautifully put together. Yeah. Anyway, that's where Charlie Edwards ran his half marathon PB in 2021. Thank you to all our supporters on Patreon. If you like what we do on this show and it brings you value, check out patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast for more details. Running news, boys, with thanks to Axel Coffee, our race results partner, and the secret to starting every run on the right foot. Nothing beats a good coffee before hitting the pavement. Where are we going first, Croaks? Diamond League.
Yeah, so I haven't watched the only Diamond League footage I saw was like the last 150 of the women's 800 where Sarah Billings was in action. Race was won by Siggy Daguma, 156.64, which was an Ethiopian record. Sarah Billings was second, 157.83. Now, that's number 2 all-time Australian and only 0.05 seconds off Kat Bisset's national record. And I don't know if you've seen the footage, boys, but she got the perfect run up the rail down the home straight. Everybody seemed to just let her run straight along the rail. It was great tactics, but also, I suppose, a little bit lucky that she had that opening. And then Nikkei was from Uganda was third, 158.39. Sarah Billings, like, she's been a name that's been around for a long time, and there's always been like these glimpses of she could be the real deal. And she's 27 now, and obviously now like 0.05 of a second off Aussie record. She's she's well and truly arrived.
Pushed Jess Hull to the line in that women's 1500 over at Perth. Well and truly correct. Remember like a couple of years ago? Remember when Kat Bisset had that GoFundMe to try and get her overseas to do a European series, so she could break like 2 minutes? And now Sarah Billings is running 157.8. Like women's 800 meter running has shifted dramatically.
Yeah, it has.
Well, the women's middle distance, it's that whole like rising tide lifts all boats, isn't it? When it's the standards there, you can't run 2:01 and expect to make teams or even win domestic races anymore. You got to be under 2 to be moving the needle in the even like in the selection discussion.
Also had the men's 5,000 metres, which was won by Aragawi, 12:50.45, beat Kuma Gurma, 12:50.69, and Mezgabu Sime was third in 12:51.86. We had Jude Thomas in action. He finished 16th in 13:32. So no doubt he wouldn't be happy with that result.
Was that a big gap back to him as well? Because I saw Brian Fay. Did he run? Because he spent like all summer. He was here Melbourne Marathon pacing Gene Gregson. Didn't he run like 13:12 or something?
Yeah, he was 10th, 13:12. The runner in front of Jude was Emmanuel Cabet in 13:27.
What did Jude run indoors? 13:11? That's a big difference, isn't it? It was pretty quick.
Or was it quicker than that?
Was it 13:08?
No, 13:09.36.
He was in Ballarat last weekend. for that mile.
Yeah.
But
But
like,
he
something
did.
must have been up for him to run, 20 seconds slower than his PB?
It's
More
a
than
lot.
that, 25 seconds. Yeah,
I think he
13:09.
only found out though pretty much when he was in Ballarat. I think that he got a start in the Diamond League. I heard on the interview that he did.
Okay.
Last result from Diamond League was the men's steeple. So we had Matt Clarke in action. He finished 10th in 8:28, which is the season's best, and the race was won by Abraham Sime in 8:07.
Good to see some Aussies in the big. Well, in the big, I guess we're calling it big, aren't we? We still reckon Diamond League's bigger than Grand Slam at the moment.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get to that. I'm off Grand Slam.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jess holding on tonight, Brady.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be saying this if Jess was coming on.
When we get to the results, I'll explain why.
Well, I've got a feeling you're off this as well. You weren't keen on this over the weekend. The Asics Tokyo Speed Race. I loved it. Expedition races where brands chuck a whole lot of money. They fly in all their athletes and they put on a show. If you're not doing this, we saw it from Adidas maybe 2 weeks ago when Adidas have, what was their one called? Race for Records or something like that. This is the new thing. If you're a brand not doing this, you need to do something.
It might be your new thing, but I have no interest in it either.
I think this is eyeballs on your brand. This is very, very smart.
If you're not doing this, other brands are putting out studies about how good their shoes are.
Nike's doing Keep Yeager, so they've gone big on an individual, haven't they? Where Asics is like, we want all our athletes to come to Tokyo. I assume they fly them all in, they're not paying for their flights to get there. They're all in the same kit. They shut down this loop. I think it was 1.3K. They had wave lights on the side of it. They released all these new shoes. The stream quality was top notch. They did a brilliant job, Asics, of putting this together. And they got 2 Australian national records out of it and all these other results. So Izzy Batt-Doyle runs 30:44. I'll say that again, 30:44 to break her old national record, which was 31:12. So that's a massive run from Izzy. And then we also had Sam Clifford run 27:34. He took down Jack's national record by 9 seconds.
Bernie.
And cast your ears back probably 6 weeks ago, fellas, in the Whispers segment, I brought up just to keep a little watch on Sam Clifford. And here we go. Goes out and breaks a national record. So 2 huge runs from the Aussies there. The women's race was won in 30:22. So Izzy not far off. That was Joy Cheptegei. And the men's race was won in 27:10 by Jamal Mekinen. Sam did finish 6th, so he was right up there. Now, other Asics people we had there from Australia, Isaac Heyne was there. He ran 28:15. Liam Boudin, he ran 28:17. Reese Edwards, a week after winning $6,000 at the Ballarat Marathon, was over there, 29:32. Hayden Wild, the triathlete, silver medalist, boys, from Paris. Yep. Alex Yee got him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Late. It was an epic sprint finish.
Yeah.
He ran 27:39 on the road to 10K. Leanne Pompiani, 31:36. Jimmy Hansen was in the 5K. He ran 13:34. Jimmy's just super consistent. He's spot on. Never going to have a bad run, Jimmy. So how's those for the results, boys? Asics on the spot.
Very fast place to run, obviously. I'm not sure whether... I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what it looked like. I'm guessing those corners weren't too aggressive if they're running that type of pace.
I watched it yesterday. Just had it on in the background while I was cooking dinner, and it seemed like it was just a nice kind of loop. Maybe a tight turn coming into the home straight to actually finish it at the end there. And they had paces. They had para athletes. When I watched it on YouTube, this would have been, 20 hours later. It already had 100,000 views. I know you guys didn't like it, but I reckon Asics has ticked a massive box here.
But the map looked like pretty much the shape of a track. It was real.
I think it was around the Olympic Stadium in Tokyo, wasn't it?
I think the stadium was in that vicinity.
Oh, was it? Yeah. They had a mass participation race during the day. Had a whole lot of influencers there. Yeah. The shoes, heaps of hype about how light they are, Moose.
Well, there's different shoes. There's 3 of them. There's a new Metaspeed Sky in Paris. I mean, the Metaspeed Edge and Sky. But then they also had this new one called the Ray, which is the really light one, similar to that Adidas shoe, 130 grams. And I'm not sure what what did Izzy wear? Which one?
Not sure. Not sure.
I get they've done a good job, they market the shoes really well, and the place is a fast place to run. I just have no interest in watching a race that doesn't mean anything. Like, I want to watch races where the outcome matters, where, like, I want to watch Diamond Leagues, sort of.
Does not getting a national record matter?
I'm not saying that.
An Australian woman ran 30:44 for 10K.
I'm not talking down to that. I'm saying we're talking about the event here. We're not talking about Izzy's performance.
Yeah, but the athletes rocked up and performed.
So if you watched Izzy run around a loop and run 30:44, you would say that's amazing viewing.
Well,
just
she
because
wasn't.
of her performance.
The
when
camera
she does
was
that
more
time
on
drop.
the winner than it was on Izzy. Like, it wasn't until you saw, the camera at the finish line, and then she came in like 10 seconds late or 20 seconds later. You're like, oh shit, Izzy's there. Like, that's quick. That's real quick.
It's the same thing with Grand Slam. That's the reason I don't care, is because there's no sentimental investment from me.
That's just cash.
Yeah, it's cash. This is marketing. I want to watch shit that people feel about, where their heart and soul is in that race.
I get you. I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, that's me. That's why I don't. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you're not going to get me tuning in for it. Kudos to Izzy. I mean,
and Sam.
And Sam. Yeah, like Sam. He said he wanted to qualify for Tokyo in the 10K. So he's still. How far off that now?
Oh,
right.
30 seconds, wouldn't he, Grace?
No, that's auto, but what would he? Where does he slip in anywhere on a drop down? Or
I wouldn't have thought this would get you too many additional points. Like, it's not going to.
Look it up.
Yeah, like it's going to be a 17:34. Like, it's not an A label race or anything that'll get you extra points.
He's going to sound running though 10K. So that's where he'll try to put a real good time on the board. Not that this isn't a real good time, but like something that can maybe get him closer to that auto qualifier.
And Izzy, what was the qualifier for women?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that's super quick for world champs.
Yeah, I don't think 30-40s. I reckon it'd be under 30-30.
I don't know.
Well.
Yeah,
I'll find it out before the end of the show.
I've got it open now, Croaks. Road to Tokyo, if anyone's wondering. A great website where it ranks everyone.
I was interested to see a few of the old GPS files. There's a real range, and like I was surprised to see how close it came out at 10K for most people, and even a few people were under 10K, given they were running around a 1.3K loop. Like, I know if I'm on a track or down the coast when I used to train around this 1.4K loop, like I knew there was always a bit of GPS sort of mayo when you're doing such a small loop, but I think Izzy came out at like 10.01K, and I think Phil Sessamon was like 9.99. So obviously it's all certified, but I would normally, when I see like a certified 10K course, it's even like point to point. It's often 10.08. Like, it's, yeah.
You're sowing speculation into people's heads here, Croaks.
No, I don't know.
If it's certified, it's certified.
I know, yeah. Where do they, yeah. I don't know.
There's a method to it.
Don't go taking it off the athletes, Croaks.
I read the booklet on it, how they certify it.
Can you tell us, Moose? Where do they measure it from?
They measured it from the middle of the road, and they were turning left the whole race in the gutters.
But that's the thing. If they're measuring it from the middle of the road and they're right on the gutter, then they're not running 10K.
No,
everyone was in the gutter.
They ain't measuring it from the middle of the road.
Well, because they should be measuring it from pretty much like close to the gutter.
Yeah, well, you don't measure a track from the middle of the track. You measure it from lane 1. That's what, like, you're running. The distance goes from lane 1 where they're at, not from lane 4.
30-20 is the auto qualifier for women in the 10K.
Gee.
Men's is 27 flat. Ooh, so that's even moved, wasn't that 27.05?
Yeah. That's shit.
I'm going to break the Australian record to get the auto spot. I'll see where Sam's sitting now in the rankings.
And is he?
Sam is still third, so Hafter's in there with that Oceania champs. Sam's result on the weekend's not in here yet. It's still got his Burnie 10 and his 10,000 metre champs at Zatopek, where he was second.
But
has it got how many people have actually hit the standard though?
Yeah, I just went to Australia first. Let me check all federations.
What?
It was quite a lot last time, wasn't it? When you checked it,
It was maybe like half
it's
the
20.
field.
They're area champions. 25 in world ranking quota. What's that mean? Oh no, 21 have got the entry standard. And
Out of how many?
They're only taking 27.
Yeah, so like you're pretty much going to have to run the standard.
You're talking
Oh
about.
no, there's only 6. There's only got 16. There's 16 that have hit the standard.
Hey mate, just keep watching him. Keep watching him. I liked it from a marketing point of view. People talking about it.
Well,
The
he's been
athlete showed
talented.
up.
Like he was a super talented junior. Still holds the under 18 5K record.
I was there. He beat me. Beat me by 3 seconds. If you're listening, the chances are you're gearing up for a race. But how dialed in is your race day nutrition? Precision Fuel and Hydration makes it simple with a free online planner to calculate your carb, sodium and fluid needs for peak performance. Their product, like the 90-gram resealable gel, helps you hit your numbers with ease. That's why legends like 4-time Olympian Lisa Waitman and ultra runner Hayden Hawks trust them too. Head to the link in the show notes to create your personalised strategy and then use code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order. Or if you're a Patreon supporter, grab your exclusive 20% off discount code from our member-only episodes. Time to level up your performance. Click the link now. Now back to the episode.
All right, Grand Slam track. Didn't see any of this.
Get up and about, Crooks. I watched the 15. They uploaded the races to YouTube, which I liked afterwards.
Yeah. So obviously we didn't end up with a stream here in Australia. I believe ESPN or there's some way to watch it in Australia, but the Miami meet, which was on this weekend, won't be shown in Australia until next weekend. And it's like, well, I don't know about you boys, but I'm not really interested in watching week old athletics. So in the men's short distance, we had Josh Kerr won the 1500 in 3:34 and A-Rop won the 800 in 1:43.69. Josh Kerr got the win for the meet on 16 points. A-Rop was second, 14 points. Pete Bowl, he finished fifth overall on 10 points. He finished fifth in the 1500 metres, running 3:35, and third in the 800 metres, running 1:44. Women's short distance, 1500 was won by Halu, 4:06. 800 was won by Mary Mora, 1:59.51. Halu got the win, 18 points. Nikki Hiltz, 16 points for second. And Jess Hull was fifth on 9 points. She finished fourth in the 1500, 4:07, and fifth in the 800, 2 minutes, 0.88. Any comments on the short distance stuff?
I couldn't see Pete Bowl there. He was competitive. Crowds looked a bit bigger, but still not massive, were they?
Yeah. I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah,
and
just from the YouTube stuff I saw.
Jess probably wouldn't be stoked with that result.
Yeah. You got to travel, though, isn't there? A lot of back and forth, aeroplanes. Like, I think when you're, like, she's confidently beaten Nikki Hiltz in the past.
Yeah.
And at the moment isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit of a yardstick, I guess, but still, like, it's early in the season. That's what I thought when I saw Sarah Billings' result. I'm like, the world champs are in September. Like, she still won 30 grand, didn't she, Jess Hull? 30,000 US for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it goes. Yeah,
it was.
So men's distance, the 3,000 metres was won by Andrew Korskarin, 8:17. Big last 100, I believe. And the 5,000 metres was won by Grant Fisher, 13:40. Fisher got the win, 20 points. Korskarin was second in 18 points. So good result for him there. And women's distance, the 5,000 was won by Agnes Ngedic, 14:25. 3,000 by Hirut Meshesha, 8:22. Both finished on 18 points and both had a first and a third. So they went to a count back. And what they do when they've each had a win and they've each finished third, they then looked at who's had the least amount of overall time running, and Ngedic won that on a count back. But it's just too hard to get into. You can't actually watch it. And I don't know, as Moose said, there's just nothing on the line. Like, it doesn't, I don't really care who wins. Like, it's great for the athletes. They're making a heap of money, but seeing guys roll around running an 8:17 3K, like, I don't care.
Because they're saving their legs for the next day.
Yeah.
So, Grant Fisher, another 100K payday.
And it's 3 days as well. It's like a 3-day event. I'm just like, yeah.
Everything else is going more condensed, isn't it?
Whereas I feel like Diamond League, you pretty much got like the best of the best there, and they're battling it out. And I think as well, like, you look at Grand Slam, and I feel like the caliber of athletes from the top to the bottom, it's pretty spread out. And like when you don't have Ingebrigtsen there, you don't have Faith Kipyegon there. It's like, they're the headliners. You need them there, I think.
That's it. Moose, take me to some domestic racing. Sydney and Adelaide.
Yes. So the runaway Sydney half was on. Ed Goddard won 66.11. He won from Matt Smith in 67.30. In the ladies, Beth Garland 77.25 from Kira Seidel 78.38. Don't see Ed leaving the state too often anymore, do you? Or the city.
He's the king of Sydney.
Runs a lot of the Sydney races, but yeah, just don't really get him like at any of those bigger Melbourne events. Haven't really seen him on the track too much either.
Clifford might be the king of Sydney now, Brady. I know
he does a lot of training up there.
He's been spending a fair bit of time up there.
Yeah, well, Ed's not going to be happy with a 66, is he? 66.11.
Well, it might just be a money chase. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know it's not the easiest course up there either.
But
I feel like Ed just flogs him. Like, he goes hard in any race he's in.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. Adelaide Running Festival was on. So a few names at this one, big South Australian names anyway. In the marathon, Fraser Darcy, off his second place at Ballarat, won in 2:28.34, beat Tim Hewitt 2:31. Kate Baker won the women's 2:43. Jakob Cox, he came off Ballarat, second place last week, 64.51 this week, to beat Adrian Potter, 64.58. And Tara Palm, she won the half last week. Did she? Yeah.
Yep, certainly did.
Yeah, 77.52 to beat Acacia Wadham, 79.29. So that's 4 of those crew backing up because Adrian won the 10K last week at Ballarat. In the 10K, Adam Goddard ran 29.58 to beat Marco Else, 30.35, and Jess Stenson ran 33.58 to beat Kate Holland-Smith, 36.44. So it's good to see the South Australian kind of elite runners back in their event in Adelaide. That's always nice to see. Appreciate that.
They could have easily had the week off after running in Ballarat. Like Jacob Cox has run 2 half marathons in 8 days, both in 64 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Cash talks, hey?
Was it cashed up there?
Some good money there. I think it was most races were, $2,000, $3,000, $1,500. Paid down a fifth.
Okay. So yeah, these results were brought to you by Axel Coffee. Don't forget, Inside Running Podcast listeners get 20% off their first online order with code IRP20. Start your day right with Axel.
Good work, Moose.
Just ad-lib that, boys. How about that?
You read it straight from this sheet that we're all looking at. Hey, Whisper's working on something. I'm working on something big coming out of Spain, boys. I'll give you more details off here. I'm waiting for some links to come through. It's a bit of stuff in Spanish at the moment, but
doping news.
Yeah, which is impacting a high-profile Australian. Can't say too much more at the moment. Been in contact with them. They're helping me out with this as well. Wanted to bring something to light.
It's nice of you to let us know. Yeah.
Hey?
We don't even know. Moose.
Yeah. Well, literally, I've been in the car to Melbourne and back all day and saw some messages, and I've got to go do some more digging. But yeah, I think it's been reported in Spanish, but no English stuff yet.
Really?
Big from you, Brady.
This is big news.
It's like
Well, I think this person contacted me because it's like, where do I go to like spread this story? And it's probably not something you're going to read about in the Herald Sun, but Inside Run podcast like running, and we'll talk about.
Let me have a look on Let's Run. Anything put up on Let's Run?
It won't be on a very, very niche event. Like, it's going to impact this Australian who we've talked about a lot over the years, and you'll know but it's not big like that in a way. It's not big global athletics, but it's big. When I tell you, you'll go, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Oh, that guy. That guy. I know that guy.
You know him?
Yeah, I know.
I led you down a path.
I've already done this. Oh,
yeah. Lack of respect for marathon running.
Yeah, just let's respect the marathon. Most likely, it king hit you for fucking 6 the other week, and then you're just going to go out and keep jogging off it. No, stay down for the count. Respect the hit you took.
All right, Craig's listener question.
All right, this episode's listener question is proudly brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration. Hey, gents, here's a listener question for you. What would you recommend for someone struggling with motivation and has a couple of marathons on the cards for this year with getting their mojo back? Can still get out and run, but just not enjoying it and taking the easy option all the time. Been a runner for a long time, but just finding it hard to find the love again. Any tips for refinding the love? And that question comes from Simon Brooker.
It's a good question, isn't it? Real good question. I'd suggest finding like why you're struggling. Like, what is it? Is it like you don't have the time to train? Is it you don't have a group to train with? Is it, other stresses in your life are making you super tired so you don't have the energy? Is it the marathons you signed up for don't actually like float your boat that much? Like, is the carrot there to actually get out and train for these events? So actually do a bit of a deep dive, firstly, to be like, how come you're struggling with motivation here? Step 1, boys. Step 2, Moose?
Just keep getting out there. It'll come. Like, if you truly love your running, it'll come. Like, just put on the runners and go for 30 minutes and just make sure you're doing something, because when it comes back, you do not want to be starting a walk-run program and having to build this massive recovery or the rebuild. So just make sure you're preparing yourself for when it hits.
Like, keep the ball rolling.
Good.
And also, I've just looked him up. I was going to say, this is weather-wise a great time to train if you're down here in Victoria or New South Wales. Like, it's going to get rougher in the next month. So, like, you got to know that's coming. But I've just looked him up, and I think he lives in Queensland. So maybe he's just on the end of some hot weather. Maybe he's about to have some, like, more favourable conditions in the next 3 or 4 months, and stuff's going to get a bit easier for Simon. What else you got, Croaks?
Meet up with people. Always helps with motivation a little bit. Go and run somewhere different. I don't know. Like, it's hard though. Like, at the end of the day, it's not your job, and I think it's okay to sometimes fall in and out of love with the sport. Like, you don't need to be like Brady and be full gas like all year round.
I come across sometimes more up. There's days when I struggle for motivation. I don't even have a group. I do this shit solo most of the time. Like, it's. Yeah, I've definitely battled. Maybe I'm just not as honest about it in the past, but I know what he's talking about. I identified this last year, that I was doing some races that I wasn't motivated by, and then I was getting 80% through the races and couldn't dig deep. So for me, this year was a bit of a goal that I'll only do a race that I can get motivated for. Yeah.
I think what Moose made a good point in terms of, like, you still want to be, like, it's okay not to be going full gas, but I still think just getting out the door regularly, because, like, I've found myself when motivation has really dropped off, it only takes 1 or 2 runs where you feel like you're moving all right and you're like, oh, I'm back. Whereas that's never going to happen if you completely stop. Whereas if you keep getting out the door doing a little bit, you'll have 1 or 2 runs that feel good and you're like, all right, I'm back here.
Yeah, good. All the best with it, Simon. Hopefully you can get that love and that motivation back. Well, he didn't say he doesn't love it, but just that mojo. Thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration, visit precisionhydration.com and use the code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order. What's coming up here, fellas? What we got? Croaks, anything in your life coming up between now and next week?
No, I had my first day back at work today since before Easter, because I had all last week off with, like, sickness, and then back into work. Raiders are second on the table, boys.
I saw Sean Crichton Strava today.
Yeah, we had a
How
good
good's
win
that?
last night against the Storm.
What about Moose starts talking about AFL when his team wins? Doesn't say anything about AFL. Fucking Saturday night is the first person to let me know that Collingwood got
Wasn't
beaten
it
by
a good
Geelong.
win though? Did you
I
see?
reckon,
Brilliant
I reckon
game of
you're
footy,
similar,
wasn't it?
Brady. I reckon you're pretty similar. There wasn't a lot of
Brilliant.
Collingwood chat early on in the season.
Well, hang on, we lost one game and then we won 6 in a row. What about
that
Patrick
first game.
Dangerfield? How good's he, Moose?
He grew up on the surf coast running hills. That's how he got so good and strong.
Bloke's an animal. How good are the umpires as well?
Oh, that's a
love the Cats.
You know what? That's an immature comment from you. And that just shows the class of the person to not give the kudos to the team.
No, I said it was a great game. Should be talking about more how good of a
blaming
game it was and not the
umpires.
umpires.
What
No,
are
just
you
didn't
just
get
like a
6
lower.
for the
It's a
last
low
8 and 3
IQ
kicks or
take.
something?
It's a low IQ take on football
Actually
to
missed
blame
the
the
game. I
umpires.
was helping count votes on Saturday night for our local electorate. And
Oh, you were helping, were you?
Yeah, you get it's pretty good helping out for that.
When
They
are
don't
you
pay
gonna
you
run-
any
when
money
are you-
for that?
When are you going to run for Parliament, Brady? I could
miss the
see
game.
you up there campaigning.
Independents never get up, do they? Do you know our area? Our area goes like Moama, Albury, like Griffith, Wagga. Like you ain't winning if you come from Moama. It's massive. So yeah, independents, it's rough as well. I feel like they pump a lot of money in, and you just never see them getting up. Big campaigns.
Who do you blokes vote for?
I voted for our local independent. I think.
Oh yeah.
I know, just because I knew the lady handing out the pamphlets, and she gave me a good rundown when I was walking in.
Oh,
Trust
did she?
her.
She gave you a rundown.
Yeah, I said, who do I vote for? She said, yeah, go with this.
We had Andrew Lee and Bill Shorten outside the front of where I voted.
Oh, yeah?
Right where Lily was playing hockey.
Andrew Lee.
Yeah, he got up too. Didn't he say he was going to celebrate with a long run?
Yeah. So he's I don't know how many times he's been re-elected. And Bill Shorten, who's now he's out of politics, but he's the Vice Chancellor of University of Canberra. So he was there. Right. He was there lending his support.
You know, one of our good customers down here, Richard Miles, Deputy Prime Minister, he comes in, buys his Brooks Adrenaline every few months, takes one to Canberra, keeps one down here.
One of the guys that
Deputy Prime Minister of Australia.
Yeah. Comes in and buys shoes in the Geelong store. And he has for years and years and years.
I was coaching one of his one of the guys that works for him, as an advisor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's good.
Geelong.
Political chat at the end of the show there. Shoe Geeks, give the Inside Run and Shoe Geeks Instagram a plug. We've done that. Make sure you follow along with those boys. Live show Gold Coast. Also, patrons, keep your eyes peeled for this one because Gold Coast Marathon's going to roll around pretty quick. We are going to be at the same venue again, thanks to Lululemon, for our, how many live shows we done up there, boys? This will be number 6? 5?
I don't know if it'll be 6.
Maybe 5th one? 3rd with Lululemon. We did a couple with some other partners.
Broadbeach Bowling Club. And then we're at Southport
RSL. Next to the Pokies in that first venue. Yeah, we've come a long way.
It'll be at least the 5th.
The 5th big one. So patrons get first dibs at those tickets. Not sure Zach could just put this note here to give that a plug. That's coming up shortly. And got to get a few things sorted there, boys. What are you doing, Moose, between now and next week?
I'm off to a conference, actually, like the mid-year conference that we have. I'm going to Melbourne. See some shoes. Might put some content on that Instagram page if I'm allowed. Just saw some shit roll across my email right then that is very exciting in the shoe world.
Give us a hint.
SB. That's all you're getting.
Oh, I know.
What?
I'm not saying yes or no to anything, but...
Super Blast?
Oh, yeah. That gives it away.
I'm not saying
Didn't
yes
Nike
or no
do like SB? Their skateboarding stuff's like Nike SB.
Nike SB, that is cool.
That's where my head went, straight to skateboarding stuff.
Well, I'm not saying it's
So what's that Super Blast 3 Moose you're telling us?
I'm not saying a single word about it.
2?
But I just saw it, and I've just got a photo of it in front of me, and it fucking looks amazing.
Flick it through. Put it on the Shoe Geeks
No,
Instagram
that's
page.
the sort of stuff that'll get us...
that is
the sort of stuff that gets us cancelled.
That also gets your follow count up. That will get you to 10,000 pretty quick.
Gets my brand account lost.
Blame Knitter. Just say Knitter did it. You don't have the password.
Yeah,
boys.
Yeah.
Any events coming up this weekend? Or there's, I guess, AV.
AV's back.
No major international events?
Trying to think off the top of my head. Nah, not that I know of. No big marathons. Is that the autumn marathon season done? Are the big ones? Boston, London, Frankfurt, Hamburg, sorry.
Oh, Rotterdam's this.
Nah,
No,
Rotterdam's
Copenhagen's this weekend.
Yeah, Magnus, he raced at Rotterdam. I think that's it. Christchurch marathon coming up. Oh, no, that was like
on
3
the other
weeks
week.
ago.
Yeah.
That's usually in May, though, isn't it? They brought that forward.
Yeah, they've brought it forward.
All right, boys, we'll do it all again next week. Patreon supporters, get your eyes ready for the UK boys. That is Matt Clowes, Aaron Scott, and Dan Nash. They're recording in about 12 hours' time. See you later.
See you guys.
See ya.
Want to make your next race day the best one yet? Well, dialing in your nutrition strategy is one of the most effective ways you can do that. Luckily, our show sponsor, Precision Fuel and Hydration, offers you the chance to do this in the most effective way possible. Book a free consultation with their team to fine-tune your fueling plans. Emphasis here on you, as they offer tailored advice based on your circumstances and the race you're taking on. They're there to help you achieve your goals all year long, and as mentioned, this service is free of charge and a great opportunity to ask them any questions you may have about fueling and hydrating for your race. No question is too daft for them. We've loved Precision for a long while, and this free service is another reason why. Use the link in the show notes and use code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order and start smashing those goals today.